Hello students, now this is the third lecture. Here I am going to start with the history chapter 1, that is how, when and where. In this chapter we are going to discuss with how important are the dates, knowing the dates, how do we periodize, what is meant by colonialism, administration produces records, importance of surveys, what official records do tell. Now, the main aim of this chapter, as well as we can say that the main aim of the history is to develop an interest of the students in the subject, because most of the students consider history to be boring or monotonous. It's only about memorizing dates. But however, under this chapter we will develop a conception and an idea as to why we study history and why it is crucial and critical to understand the key happenings in the history of India as well as that of the world. Now let's take a very small example. The example is that, as suppose I will ask you that what is your date of birth, you can easily answer up because you were born on that day. But if I ask one of your friend in your class that what is the date of birth of yours, that if he or she is your good friend, he or she can easily tell. But if, for example, I ask any person X who is not your friend or who is not connected with you, if I will ask that what is the date of birth of yours, then it will be a very challenging for him to answer. Similarly, it comes to the mind of us that why we remember the dates, why to remember when the Akbar was born, why to remember when the Babur was born, when the Battle of Panipat was held, and so on and so forth. Now, over a period of time, the things and the conception have changed. Earlier, we were considering history about what has taken place. It identifies how things were in the past, how they have changed, and the past was referred to as before, and the present is known as after. Previously, we consider history, it was confined to only some dimensions, that when the things had happened, only that much. But now we are moving forward and a step ahead and considering how and what happens under history. Let's see the things, how they existed in the past and how they are in the present. Let's take a very simple example of one more example of it, that if you are being heard about certain uses, about that use of the tea and the use of the coffee, use of the tea and the use of the coffee was started on which particular date, we can answer at that on this particular year, on this particular month, the use of it is started, but we can't mention the exact date, because as we say that means a stretch of a period we can mention, but not the exact date. Similarly, previously aeroplanes were considered to be the means of communication that could only be used by the privileged or the elite group. Now, with the Udan scheme, the full form of Udan is Ude Desh Ka Aam Nagrik. After launching of the Udan scheme, that means each and every common man of the country should be able to fly. So that when we are talking about the history, from the historical ideas of buildings and aeroplane to the present date used for a common man in all the history, so that it is the key conception that you must understand history. We talk about a man who is called Robert Clive. He asked Rennell to produce the map of Hindustan because his perspective was very broad. means we can say he has a very broad perspective. It's only if that when map produces, when people started writing about the map, about it, everyone has a different perspective for the same. If you will ask a Britisher to write about the map, he will have a different view. If you ask about the peasant, Indian peasant, to write about the map, he will also have a different view. So that we can say that it's hard to fix on one fine day, that it started gradually and stretches over a period of time. Previously, history will be defined as when the king was born, when he came into throne, or when he died, and so on and so forth. But at the present time, what is our aim? We try to study how people earn their livelihood, how economy increases, how cities and kingdom developed, or we can say evolved, how ideas spread, and how the culture have changed. Everything under those ideas would be considered as a part of history, based on which we are moving forward. Now, the next topic we have is which dates. I would like to talk about a Warren Hastings. He was the first Governor General of India in 1773. But when I talk about the Warren Hastings, you start preparing the list of all the Governor Generals who were after the or who were before the 1773. If I put it that way, what would be the perspective? My perspective would be to remember only the names of the Governor General. But what we have to do, or the Governor General or the Viceroy, what we'll start, we just remembering those. Instead of that, we should remember what was the contribution of Warren Hastings, what he does, or what are the works he has done. Now, as we consider is how do we periodize? There is a next topic, how do we periodize? In 1817, a Scottish political philosopher, he was known as James Mill. In his very famous book, he divided, the name of the book was A History of British India. He divided India into three periods. That is the Hindu period, Muslims period, and the British period. He himself was a Britisher, and what he does, the way in which he explained or put form the Hindus, Muslim, and the Britishers, he divided the whole into atrocity, on the basis of atrocity, superstitious, caste, in this way. And he marked British period as a period of civilization. British period as a period of civilization, because according to him, he said that Britishers, the people of the British were the civilized people. It was a civilized society with the development of institution, development of everything. He explained further that if Britishers were given the real authority, means the real authority was given to the Britishers, they could make the whole country civilized. This way, he explained that if the whole power is in the Britishers, then the Britishers will become civilized.